Hey guys, what's going on? It's been a long time since I've been in the forum. The reason why I'm not in the forum anymore is I don't work in a shop that has Mastercam. I moved on to a cabinet shop and they use something called Cabinet Vision to do their programming, and I haven't learned that package yet, but I will. But this shop is really a great place. They're good people. The place I worked before that has Mastercam, they're kind of scumbags, guys. They paid me pittance. They started me at 12 bucks an hour because I'd never worked in a commercial CNC shop before, running a 3D package like Mastercam. But I understand G-code, how it works, but I've only used open source packages, open source software. I built and retrofit a lot of little CNC machines. It all works basically the same, and I have a lot of history in 3D modeling and animation programs. It's not a big deal, man. This stuff isn't rocket science for what we were doing. But I just needed to go through the pains of learning it. So I did. On my free time at home, I learned this stuff. And the idea was that if I could get up and running, program all their parts in Mastercam, bring them out to the table, do all the setups, make the stuff button pusher ready, at the end of 6 months, they'd pay me a fair wage. Well, 6 months came. I was bringing all the I programmed 10 or 12 parts for those people, and I never got paid one time to sit in there and got paid to program. I did it all on my free time, early in the mornings, after work, at lunch. I did it basically for free, because when they didn't want to pay me after 6 months came, we went up to the office. I told them what I thought a fair wage was, and I said, $25 an hour minimum is what I think I'm worth here for your shop. And they're like, we can't pay you that. We're not going to hold you here. You can, go where you need to go to get your money, but we can't pay you that. And I'm like, wow, that's a really shitty thing to say to somebody after you shook my hand and looked me in the eye and said that, yeah, you'd pay me fairly. When I know that like entry-level Mastercam programmers are making $30, $35 an hour. At least that's what I thought based on my research. And I was programming parts, doing production, doing the setups, troubleshooting everything. I mean, this shop has been in business since the 1978, and all of their programs are handwritten G-code, right? Except like the ones that I did and another guy, Jimmy, did maybe 3 or 4 programs in Mastercam, and he no longer works there either because they wouldn't pay him right. But when I wanted to go get my files I wanted to delete the files that I never got paid to do, they told me they would call the police for destruction of company property. That's how much of scumbags they are. Anyways, I just wanted to come back on here and show you guys how I learned to match the axes to the CNC machines that we had. It was a 5-axis gantry machines with a table that ran front to back. And instead of being Y-axis this way and X-axis this way and Z-axis this way, this was X, Y, and Z. Okay, so the X and Y are flip-flopped on that machine for some reason. And that's just the way it is. So Colin, he showed me how to bring in a part. Say this part, when you get it from whoever supplies their models or SolidWorks or whatever, it would be, all up turned in the middle of space somewhere. So Colin showed me how to bring everything and line it up to the world axis, and the WCS from the top that's already created for you would match, and then I could rotate it and get it to match our machine, X, Y, and Z. And that's what I did. However, after I got done programming it and doing everything the right way and making the tool pass the way I wanted it to be, you bring it out to the machine and it would be the wrong axis, and I would run it on there with no fixture and it wouldn't match our machine. So I tried and tried and tried through different tutorials and asking people in forums and stuff like that what to do, and I could never figure out the answer, how to easily and quickly manipulate the gnomon to match your machine. And it's actually real simple. This top and front, they're locked. You can't do anything with it. If you look down here, this little arrow is to select the place of gnomon, just like another places. So if you come up to your top axis, your top plane, and you say duplicate, okay, and then you come over here and you click WCS tool and construction plane, Now you see how this unlocks now? Now you can manipulate it. If you just click this little arrow, it's real simple. It lets you bring a gnomon out. And say if I want to put it here on the part and make that the home position for X, Y, and Z, how I want it to be orientated. If you just double click on this baby, now we can edit it just like you could any other gnomon. So if I want to adjust this to match our machine, I know I could type in 90. Let me see if I could just place it at 90. Hell, we're going to call that 90. Now, X is running front to back like that machine. Y is running right to left like that machine. And Z is running that. Now, if I export the code, it will work on the machine. That's how easy it was. Just wanted to share that with you. Maybe that would help somebody run into the same problem I was doing. It's really a shame that I'm not working at a shop that has Mastercam, because I really enjoyed learning how to program in Mastercam. And I felt like I was really starting to get good at it. And these scumbags, they just, they swept the rug out from me, This is actually one of the parts that I gave to Colin that we did a tutorial on. And I learned how to do, these points to clear for the tool and everything. And just some valuable things happened in this tutorial. But one of the pieces I was missing was being able to manipulate the gnomon to match our machine. And that's it. So hopefully one day I can get into using Mastercam again, or find a job here in Kansas City that they need a guy to program some parts and send them out to their machines. Or hell, I wish I could afford this software to use it on these little machines that I have, the little projects that I have, but it's really not feasible. This is $10,000 to $20,000 for software. I'm stuck with using open source stuff. Like, I'll show you one of the things that I use in open source. I know it's going to be stupid, but let's see here. This is a little controller that I use, and it's a JavaScript JSON server that lets you, once you have your Tiny G setup, which is that little control box over there, inside your browser screen is your G code window, it's your e-stop, it's your graphical user interface for X, Y, and Z and stuff. It's really, really cool. As you can see, it's a little JavaScript guy here. And it's a little open source project that I use for controlling boards on stuff that I create. Anyways, I know it's a long rambling thing, and guys, I miss you guys, and I really enjoyed learning how to use Mastercam, and feels like such a wasted effort. And something that I learned that I'll never do again is learn something on my own time to help another company succeed, and them not be appreciative of that effort. Anyways, y'all take care. Bye-bye.